honestly dealing primarily with the miracle and not necessarily the participation that is necessary for individuals who want to make it with God. We expostulate the miracle, and the miracle leaves a psychological disposition that I really don't have to do much. God will do it all, and I don't have to participate in my own economic or my own spiritual or my own character development. Young people, I come to tell you, you've got to participate in the process that you're going through. That is the reason why sometimes God allows you to bump your head, because he wants you to participate in the process of maturing. You know, they used to have a show called Growing Pains. There is a pain in growing up, but the pain in growing up will be worth it after a while. And so I will just sit around and believe according to this neo-Pentecostal movement and drop a little money off at the church, and God will make the difference. And so that brings about a certain amount of disappointment, because whenever experience and expectation does not go together, the individual who is going through the disparity between the two is generally caught in a place called discouragement. Because that place of discouragement would not be there if what I expected happened. And if what I experienced is what I was looking for, I would not get discouraged. I only get discouraged when what I'm looking for does not happen the way I thought it would happen. And so oftentimes, because we put things on false premise and build expectation that is not scriptural, there is a tendency to be despondent when we don't have what we thought we would have had by now. Have you ever thought about yourself and said, well, I pictured I would be in a different place than I actually am right now? Have you ever, I mean, come on now, let's be real about it. I don't know if you've ever done an A paper and got a B grade. Come on. All right. Come on. And I almost got kicked out of school when I was in high school, because a teacher gave me a D when the person who copied me got an A. And so I went to her class and I said, I need to speak with you. I know you're not grading this thing right, because I saw her copying off my paper and you gave it. She said, well, I figured it must have been. I said, woman, you better get your mind right. And then the next thing I knew, I acted like a fool, and I blocked her in the classroom and all this kind of stuff. And so then police had to get involved. The problem was that I was not looking for police. I was looking for my expectation and my experience to come together. And so I became despondent, because what I was expecting and what I experienced did not match. Have you ever expected something that you did not get? You know? And so oftentimes, because we put things on false premises and build expectation that is not scriptural, we go after the wrong thing. And so, you know, we don't live where we thought we would be living. And we thought we would be over certain things, only to find out that they are still there. Oftentimes, it is because the preacher has ill-advised the congregants and put them on expectations that are not real. But then there is another thing too, and there is disappointment when we have just had the wrong concept of God. Not necessarily that it was an ill-begotten matter, but it just because we didn't think it through, or we have a revelatory experience to move us to the place where we understand how God operates in the parameters of his truth. And so consequently, we have a wrong interpretation, and the wrong interpretation can leave us with expectations and experiences that do not meet. And so now there was a problem here in the Hebrew church, and it was not that they were erroneously taught. It was not expectation that did not exist. It was simply that they were under such great persecution that they wanted Jesus to hurry up and get here and return, that he might validate them in their belief system. That is why there are certain passages here that show us that they were having difficulties because they were hoping that he would come quickly. In Hebrews 10 and 31, you all flip one page over probably, and you'll find out here in 31 of chapter 10, he says, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. But call to remembrance the former days in which, after ye were illuminated, you endured a great fight of afflictions. Partly whilst ye were made a gazing stock both by reproaches and afflictions. Notice that. You were made a gazing stock by reproaches and affliction, and partly whilst ye became companions of them that were so used. For ye had compassion of me in my bonds, and took joyfully the spoiling of your goods, knowing in yourself that ye had in heaven a better and enduring substance. So he says, based on this fact, I want you to cast not away, therefore, your confidence, which have great recompense of reward. The difficulty that they had was they needed to be validated. I don't know if you've ever been in a position, maybe in a relationship, maybe a job, a boss on the job, maybe in the church, and even with your children, where you have taken a particular position, and because you've taken the position, you find that your position has brought you opposition. And if you are as argumentative as I am, and you strive to be as right in your own eyes as I do, then of course you are looking for validation. Yes. Growing up, me and my cousin spent a lot of time in battle. And everybody was always running to somebody to find out whether or not we were right, and I needed validation to prove that I was right. It wasn't so much about winning anything. I just wanted to hear somebody say, yeah, Jamian was right this time. And so, that was the validation that I was seeking after. And that was their position. They needed validation. They are following to Jesus, and they hope that he would hurry up and come. And he says in the very next verse, he says that ye have need of patience, that after you've done the will of God, you will receive the promise. For yet a little while, Elder Smith, and he that shall come will come, and he will not tarry. Now the just shall live by faith. And I need you to know your Bibles. Come on here, Sunday school. You see, the difficulty is when you are in the middle of a need for validation and the Lord does not move quickly. All right? And because he does not move quickly, your experience and your expectation are not on par. And whenever you have experienced something and it did not come to pass as quickly as you thought it would, it takes the fight out of you. And so now it is discouraging because time seems to play against your faith. I told them in Virginia, the closer you get, the further it seems. Hear me now, young people. One of the worst things that I experienced in school was becoming a senior. It seemed like I was closer to graduation in the 9th grade than I was in the 12th grade. Because I was so close to it, it seemed like nothing was moving. Yes. And so here now is the test of my faith. And when we look for something and we expect something and it does not come as quickly, we are in a battle to maintain our zealousness. I want you to know, young people, in 2011, do not lose your zealousness. All right. The enemy will try everything that he can to stop you from achieving that which the Lord has called you to achieve. But you tell the devil, your regional president told promise.